What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another random movie review channel. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Chase, and let's talk about one. And the one I want to talk about right now is My Policeman. Now, this one actually hits select theaters and Amazon Prime Video this Friday, October 21st, if you care to watch this film, regardless of what I'm about to say. So, what is this movie about? The arrival of Patrick into Marion and Tom's home triggers the exploration of seismic events from 40 years previously. Patrick is like a friend of this married couple, and Tom does not want to talk to Patrick. Marion is trying to take care of Patrick because they're all friends, but you know there's something off. There's something going on between all three of them, and so we kind of see that unfold as Marion kind of goes into the attic area and she reads a journal, and I believe it's Tom's journal. So she kind of understands why there's so much friction between those two. So going into this, I knew it was based on a book, and I knew Harry Styles was in it, and I knew Amazon Prime Video was going to release it. Those are the three things that I knew about it. So I kind of went into it blind. And I didn't really know anything about it. And to be quite honest, like even just reading the IMDb synopsis, it doesn't really give you much, and I kind of like that because after seeing the movie, I want to take a break to thank the sponsor of this video, Movie Palette. Hi, it's me interrupting me, and I just wanted to take a break to thank the sponsor of this review, Movie Palette. Movie Palette takes the concept of the movie poster to the next level. Movie Palette consists of stripes of colors carefully chosen by their team of artists. Every stripe represents a color of a particular scene in a movie and is put in chronological order on the canvas. There are so many movies to pick from, and it doesn't even stop there. They also have whole seasons of TV shows. I recently moved and I needed some things to put on my wall, and I was getting tired of putting up traditional movie posters and wanting something different, and Movie Palette stepped up to the plate. The movie palette that I chose was one of my favorite movies of all time, Logan. This gorgeous palette is a constant reminder of how beautiful this film is and how each scene evokes a different emotion all through its language of color, not to mention a great conversation starter. This is a unique piece to any film and TV lover's home, and I want to help you get one. Use the discount code CHASE15 for 15% off of any product on their website. Film is art, so why not display your favorite as such? That's 15% off of your order when you use the code CHASE15. I like it. It's a good romance film. It's a good friendship film. I'm trying to dance around it because I don't want to ruin anything for you guys. So I'll try to keep it as vague as I can. But I've never read the book, so I have no idea how the book reads out. But what I can tell you is, watching this film, it kind of plays out like a novel. It's played in a nonlinear fashion. We go from present to past quite a bit. I didn't think it was too jarring at all, and it also had some voiceover from each of the characters, so we kind of got to know a little bit more of their headspace. It felt like a novel, which I was totally fine with because I thought the pacing was correct. It's like right under 2 hours, so I think that's perfect timing for that. So yeah, I like this film, and so if you're looking for a romance period piece, I think this is the film to do it. And like I said, it's in theaters and Amazon Prime Video if you want to check it out. So to kind of break it down a little bit more, I've never heard of the director Michael Grandage. I was looking through his IMDb, and I don't recognize anything that man has done. What a great introduction to his filmography with this film. Like I said, this thing it takes its time. It allows the characters and the scenes to breathe, and these romances and these relationships to flourish. Like I felt like I was watching something really intimate. And I felt like I was in these people's lives, kind of watching this thing unfold, and it was quite beautiful. And I thought Michael Grandage did a really great job, kind of just laying everything out in this kind of nonlinear fashion, you know, letting us see, like, these happy moments from the past and kind of juxtapose it with the present and how the characters are currently feeling, and then vice versa, where the past is not so pretty, and then we go to the future, or yeah, the present, where it's a little bit better. So I love the juxtaposition between the past and the present, and yeah, I really like the way the story kind of unfolded that way. I also really liked the way it was shot, and I really liked the atmosphere and the mood that Grandage kind of places on this film. We see a lot of current time stuff, and we see a lot of stuff from the late '50s, and you really kind of felt that visually and just stylistically, production wise and everything. It just, you really felt like you were in each individual time period and they had their own distinct personality. What I also really liked, and this is something that has to apply to all movies, whether it be, an action film, a comedy, a drama, a romance. Scenes have to have purpose, and so there's a lot of movies out there that don't really require said scenes, and they're just in it to be in it. What I really liked about the sex scenes in this film is that they told a story and they told how the characters were feeling and they told like what they were going through and like what it meant to have passion and what it meant to kind of hide that passion and really kind of deceive like how you truly feel about maybe other people. And so I really like the way it was kind of told from that perspective too, and there was a lot of emotion in every single scene that happened in a bedroom, which I really appreciated because it really just adds a lot of depth to the characters, and just really beautiful stuff with the passion stuff. And then when it wasn't passionate, you could really tell like how the other person was feeling in that situation. So really like that. Um, yeah, and I know this isn't the directors, but the music, the score is wonderful. Really just kind of adds a lot to each scene and really elevates the emotion and taps into emotions into you as an audience member that you probably haven't felt in a long time. Like the music was really well done, and I felt like it was just handled with care and just this love and emotion just swelling throughout. Really great score. I haven't heard a good score in a long time in a film, but that one did it. So really love the vision and the storytelling from director and definitely the writers as well. Once again, didn't read the book, but I can imagine this is how the book kind of played out in people's minds as they were watching it. Okay, so let's get into the performances because we have six people that we have to kind of go through because we have younger selves and we have older selves. I will say that the older selves, we don't get as much as the younger selves, rightfully so. We're understanding people's backstories and we're kind of understanding people's histories. I get that. It's not going to have a lot of the current um, performers in it, as much as the other ones. But I will say that the older versions of their characters, everyone did a fantastic job. And you got to keep in mind, like as you're watching it, they are at the tail end of everything that we're watching. So there's a lot of heartbreak. There's a lot of emotional distress between all three of these people, and so you really see that through their body language and their faces and just the way they're talking to one another. Like there's a lot of friction between all three of these people and you can feel it. And then I love the emotional climax between all three of them at the end, because we do end on kind of present selves, and their scenes were so touching and so heartwarming that you can I there was a lot of sniffles in the house, let me just say that, but it was a really touching kind of ending to this film, and so that's where the the current selves kind of landed. That emotional arc was the end of the film. It was wonderful. The majority of the film is the past selves. So I will say I'm just going to go one by one. We're going to get to the big one. He will be last. Um, and so let's start with the friend, Patrick. So the younger self is played by David Dawson. I've never heard of this guy. I'm sure if I look up his IMDb, I'm sure I'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen that one. This guy was wonderful. It's a character that he is comfortable with who he is. He goes around with this confidence, but at the same time, he kind of has to be careful a little bit. This is the late 50s, and he's a part of the LGBTQ plus community, and so he has to watch his steps. But he carries his confidence with him to where he doesn't let that bog him down so much. But he definitely has a suaveness to him, and there's definitely this loving individual that's inside of him, and I thought it was a really well balanced performance. And then the Marion, played by Emma Corrin, she had a difficult role to pull off because this was the type of person that wanted to be married. She wanted to have a husband, she wanted to fall in love and have this life. But she was also aware of what was going on, and she was trying to change people because, she was taught that it was perversion and all of this stuff, and there's definitely a sadness to that because she didn't seem like to me a bad person. She was just taught bad things, and she was kind of brainwashed, and that's just how she grew up. And so, unfortunately, she did a lot of damage to the relationship between all three of these people. And there's a catharsis at the end of the film with her character that made me smile because I'm like, oh, she can finally breathe and be free. And so I thought she had the most difficult job out of all three of them. But I thought younger self and older self both killed it. And like I said, the end of the film, great, great catharsis for that character. Finally realizing like what true love actually means and like what like the weight is lifted off her shoulders. Okay, so everyone's probably wondering, how is the Harry Styles? When I saw Don't Worry Darling a couple weeks ago, I said in my review, you know, I've seen Harry act before. He's not bad, but he's just not a lead. He's just not. Put him in supporting roles, let him build up to it, go take some more classes. He'll get there. I have nothing against him. I can now eat my own words because you know what? He was good in this one. And all three of them kind of share the screen together, like as their younger selves. So I would consider him like a co-lead. He's wonderful in this. And it's the type of role that works for him. He didn't have to do some like over the top like accent and over the top yelling scenes that make no sense and like don't really have any passion behind it. Every single scene that Harry was in, he was actually good. So I will eat my own words. He's getting better. And this was the type of performance for him where he was also balancing quite a bit for his character. This is a character that's not really sure about himself or like sure about his sexuality. And so he has to kind of force himself to do things that he doesn't want to do. And so this causes a lot of resentment and a lot of drinking and a lot of anger towards the wrong people because he's angry at himself because he can't be true to himself. And so there's a lot of sadness and truth in that performance because I know there's a lot of people out there that probably feel that way. And so I really loved like everything that he did. I mean, he was ferocious. He, this is probably the most I've ever seen Harry Styles go for it. There's a lot of lot of sex scenes, a lot of nudity for sure, but it's not just that. Like it felt like this was the first time where I felt like he was actually in it. Like he was in his character, he was living his character, and he actually gave a pretty good performance. So you know what? Uh, like I said, he has changed my mind in the span of less than a month. So I'll give him that. But yeah, he's actually pretty good. And he's the top build person, so kind of rides on his shoulders a little bit. But yeah, I thought everyone as a collective, and what I really appreciate about the casting is that, yeah, Harry Styles is in this. He's here to sell tickets. But you know what? Not only is he good, but the person that they cast as his older self, like there was inflections in the voice and some of the physicality that kind of mimicked each other. So like the casting was on point for all six people replicating their younger selves and older selves and all that stuff. Like it was a fluidness to their characters. I felt like that was great casting on their part. So yeah, I listen, is this gonna be my top 10 of the year? Probably not, but I would be actually comfortable with putting this in my like 11 through 20 right now. Who knows? Maybe it might bump up more, but I like it. It's a good movie. And so if you're looking for something different this weekend, you want to watch a period romance, I would highly suggest this one. I love forbidden love stories, so this is right up my alley. So yeah, I had a good time, but just know that by the end of it, you might shed a tear a little bit. So just be forewarned. But let me know what you thought of My Policeman down below. Whether you liked it, loved it, hated it, all that stuff. And that will do it for this review. I'm Chase Lee. Thank you to our sponsor, Movie Palette, for sponsoring this review. And I will see you guys for the next one. Bye bye.